No Limit technology allows you to invest in a new game-changing sports betting protocol. And with me is the CEO, Rafael Groswirt, to explain more about this. And Rafael, tell me about the No Limit betting protocol. What makes it unique?
First of all, Jane, thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to you and exciting. The No Limit betting protocol essentially is designed to take what crypto has done to finance, which has created a whole alternative method of storage of value, of movement of money, efficient. There's no clocks, there's no weekends. It's 7/24, and really apply that innovation, that breakthrough in technology onto the gaming world, the gambling world, to the point where players will no longer require to send their money up to the platform and always retain possession or control of your money, allowing you to explore multiple options in terms of where's the best deal. Because in the current scenario, you can only bet where you've sent your money and you're locked out of potentially a much better deal from another sports platform. So what we aim to bring is a protocol where we're going to build an exchange on top of that, but really anybody's going to be able to build their own gaming exchange, including existing operators. I mean, the DraftKings of the world, MGMs, they're welcome to move away from the custodial model to the non-custodial model and build on our protocol. And it's going to be an open source model, even though we did file a patent, but at the same time, we're issuing a GPU, general public use license, precisely so nobody else could lay claim to this technology. And we are putting out this API protocol very soon so other platforms, including ours, can adopt this non-custodial approach towards gaming, gambling. So it's a tremendous shift in the way things are done, but the large operators are going to have a rough time giving up customer deposits. I was checking out a DraftKings balance sheet, and there's 480 million from client deposits. The protocol, the Web3 protocol, is going to allow all that money to be returned to the players and allow the players to pick from multiple providers compliant with Web3 and our betting protocol to get the best deal. Because you might have a line on one platform at 5 points and another platform might be at 4 points. So you might, you really can shop for the best deal, and the situation right now prohibits that or does not allow that, the technology.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned something about non-custodial betting platforms. So what do you mean by that exactly?
Sure. Right now, if I want to gamble at any of the platforms, I send in my money. It has to be credited to my account. Sometimes there might be issues there. Then I play. When I want my money back, I have to request for it. If it's the weekend, it's going to take a few days to get back to me. Banks might have an issue because it's a gambling platform. The gambling platform might have an issue, but in the non-custodial model, you always retain custody of your money. And this makes the player have, or provides the player, n number of options. And in essence, it has also been proven to help in the responsible gambling area. And we're very happy about that, because all the gambling platforms do say we care about responsible gambling. They list the 800 number, end of story. No real change has been accomplished. They even offer you a self-lockout mechanism, but that's kind of, strange. But in our case, we believe that the custodial versus non-custodial change is going to make people think twice about gambling money that they're not supposed to, just because it's so close to them and so easily convertible to cash or to food or payment for services. So we're proud of that
Yeah.
aspect also, besides the profitability that we can expect.
Right. Well, and that's very different. It's unique versus other platforms out there.
It's very different, and it's going to be hard. They're going to drag their feet because nobody's going to want to give up the monopoly control they have over their players once they have their money, versus you having your money in your pocket and being able to go shop at A, B, C, or D. We're going to be one of those platforms, and we're coming out with what is called a hybrid exchange/book, where you could come in and, just like a market, just like a crypto exchange or a stock exchange, put up an offer. And if somebody on the other side takes it, then the platform, the operators, have zero risk. Right now, the big problem with sports books is they have risk. I mean, they give you a line, they charge the juice, as they call, which is essentially a combination of advantages that the sports book has against the player in order to make money. But in the exchange model, we don't care what line is operated. There is a small commission, 2% versus about 10 or 12% that sports gamblers are actually playing. And it's even 15% on horse racing. While we're going to provide the exchange opportunity, yet at the end of the period before the start of the game, we're going to offer also the booking model. So that way, if your order didn't fill through the exchange, then 5 minutes before the game, we'll fill it as a sports book, which is a whole different interesting entity, because the way we plan to compete against the large operators is through a DeFi fund. But that DeFi fund is going to chase not yield, but fees, sports betting fees, which sometimes could be 1% to 2% of day of your capital. I mean, do the math. If we're very efficient with our operations and you're making 1% to 2% a day, I mean, monthly, I don't even want to do the math, but it's a lot. So we're really excited about the opportunities for players, for ourselves, and for investors to come in and reap some of those juicy fees that are out there in the sports booking world that are now being kept by just a handful of gigantic operators. So, we're David here, and Goliath is out there.
Okay. Well, David won that one, if I remember right. So, well, interesting about the commissions too. And how big of a market could this be potentially?
Simple. One what? 1 billion a day. It's more like 500 million worldwide a day in terms of sports and other online betting. But just the US alone is over $100 billion a year in sports betting market. The states that have been coming online, like New York just recently came online, just blew all the expectations out of the water. I mean, they crossed $1 billion the first 2 weeks. So the numbers are astonishing. They're even more than what people predicted, which is causing states to try to rush some of those laws through. And it's also causing tremendous wars. Like here in California, you've got the tribes versus the card rooms. And, they're duking it out with the voters, with advertising. They're putting up tens and hundreds of millions of dollars to jockey for their position, so to speak. So the states are getting into it, and it's out of the shadows. It's family fun now, and as long as you keep it responsible, it's great. Just like poker was in the shadows for a while, and then it became a family game, and now it's on TV, and everybody loves to watch it and loves to play it. Same thing with sports books. Fantasy sports went through the same thing, but once the Supreme Court allowed other states to also have sports books, and not just Las Vegas or Nevada, which was the sole state for many, many years. Governor Christie from New Jersey kept fighting it, saying, hey, why can't Atlantic City also have sports books? Well, he's the hero of the sports betting community, because he won, thus allowing not just New Jersey, but all the other states to pursue it. And over 20 states have already passed sports gambling laws. And yes, the fees are high and everybody's in your pocket, but the business is out, it's rolling. and the numbers are through the roof.
Yeah. Well, I guess, you pay the fees and all that if,
Always pay the piper.
and that's part of the business. So now, do you have a patent on IP, a patent IP? You mentioned patents earlier.
Yeah, the patents are kind of a two-edged sword. We filed for patent for the NoLimit betting protocol. We've also filed for patent for the DeFi portion of the sports betting protocol, which is going to allow everyday people to invest on the side of the house. And we did this not so much to prevent others from creating their own system. On the contrary, we actually are going to release the betting protocol as open source. The reason we did the IP is so other companies, I call them patent trolls, because they want to patent. I mean, the wheel. If one of those big companies could patent the wheel and charge us money for putting, for using it, they would. Yeah. And they're very active in the blockchain and crypto areas. If you look at some of the reports, there's hundreds of patents being filed every year by these gigantic companies that on one side they're like, oh, we don't know about crypto, and on the other side, you look at their quarterly reports, and there's a section saying, oh yeah, we filed for 40 patents or 50 patents in blockchain. So we protected ourselves that way. And sure, in the future, if it can lead to royalties and having a much higher valuation as a company because of our intellectual property portfolio, then that's a plus also. And you have to be active in the patent world when you're a corporation, when you're raising money, when you're competing against other companies that are very active in the patent space. Yeah. So that's a lesson that I learned early on. You have to be there. You have to do it. It costs money, but we've got 2 patents under our belts, and we've got a few more on the way.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of companies have become acquisition targets because of their patents. So that's possibly something for you down there. I don't know if you're even interested in that, but it has happened.
Hey, the dollars are green. Of course, we're always open, and there's companies worth billions of dollars generating hundreds of millions of dollars per year in fees, in royalties, and commission. And all these companies is basically a book with a bunch of patents and a bunch of lawyers trolling everybody, forcing them to pay. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to do that, but we're certainly going to protect our intellectual property. And if there is an opportunity to sign some licensing deals with some of the large operators, we're definitely going to look into it. And that is definitely the strategy. Create value for the corporation, not just in its operations, but from its intellectual property.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, just talk to me a little bit about the size of this industry. How much is on deposit at some of the custodial gaming platforms?
Exactly. Well, there's an estimate that is about $5 billion. It could be higher, but even that is a staggering amount of money that could easily and instantly be allowed to be returned to the player if the platforms would adopt a Web3 solution. They could adopt our protocol, our Web3 decentralized wallet API, or if they come up with something that doesn't infringe on our patent application, it's still not issued, but we still have precedence. When you file a patent, even if it's not issued, the date is very, very important. So companies have the opportunity to do that, but who's going to do it? Who's going to say, here's $500 million back? So we're actually excited about that because it gives us kind of a relax, or it gives us time to really set ourselves up and not worry, oh my God, these guys are going to beat us to the punch. Look at Netflix, look at Blockbuster, right? What if Blockbuster would have started streaming way before Netflix? There'd still be a Blockbuster and Netflix wouldn't exist. So I like to use that example because the end user, the player, is the ultimate judge, jury, executioner, right? I mean, they're going to see the difference and they're going to say, wait a minute, over here, they want my money. I can only play in one platform. Over here, I keep my money in my wallet at all times and I can gamble at 10 different options. I like this option. So at the end, the user is the one that's going to decide. But if one of those platforms wants to get ahead of the wave and come with the new technology and use our API protocol, we're happy to help them. And we're creating an advisory committee because we expect that at some point there could be millions of dollars in a single smart contract that will be even insured, but there will be some fail-safe options for the parties to the smart contract. And that's one of the things that we want to evolve and develop with the actual industry players. Now, are they going to participate? That's yet to be seen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's very interesting. And it's interesting how you're using Web3 and mobile gaming, these two growing, exciting industries, and you're kind of combining them. So,
well, gaming, gambling is really one of the great ways to use crypto. It just makes everything so efficient. Money flow is so frictionless, so quick. And we're still doing KYC. We're not trying to defeat the rules and the laws of the United States or other countries. So we're still keeping, so this is like a hybrid solution. A lot of people say decentralized. And sometimes decentralized means you can't stop it. The regulations can't stop a decentralized app that's out in the wild. But in our case, because we do operate in a highly regulated area, which is gambling, we kept the control of where the applications can operate, but we returned the most important thing to the player, the money. So it's a hybrid solution, which is also a first. And we decentralize part of it. We go Web3 with the money, but we stay Web2, as they like to say, with the legal aspect. And that way, we're not trying to go around rules of any states. I mean, if there's a state where there's no sports betting, the app's not going to work there, or a country. So we will have the power to control that.
All right, Rafael, thanks so much for coming back and giving an update.
And I just want to say that our offering is going, there's sales. We're very proud of the investors at NoLimitCrowdfund.com. You can invest by paying in crypto, wires, credit cards, ACH. It's the first time an offering has so many payment options, and it just shows how far the money has come in terms of options. And by adding crypto, we're getting investors from many countries around the world that may find it complicated to issue wires. We're still going through KYC, AML, but visit us at NoLimitCrowdfund.com. If you want to invest, you can invest as little as $500 or as much as you want into our company at still a very pre-IPO valuation. So we welcome all the new investors. We're already at over 75 investors, shareholders. So I'm very proud of that too. I mean, we're essentially semi-public company with the goal of eventually reaching NASDAQ.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's where I'm at right now. So I'd love to see you ring the opening bell here someday.
Hey, that is going to be a great day, Jane. And I see it already. I'm excited about it. And I want you to be there with me. Absolutely. Yeah. And Vince also, shout out to you guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, best of luck, Rafael. Great to get an update, and I look forward to the next one.
Thanks a lot, Jane. You're awesome.
Thank you.